to pray. There's no angels where I go, only pieces that are broken, scattered dreams across the floor. I'm home.
Alrighty, hello everybody, this is Kiru Show here. Now, let us begin. When we last left off, we just had the heroes versus villains, along with Monomo getting his ass flown through a building by a pretty solid punch. Now, let us begin with the bus. Deku is still trying to figure out different passwords and different things on the USJ. The USJ. On the computer. On the way to the USJ. People keep asking Deku about it, and he would just say that it's essentially something that he picked up. Because you gotta learn a lot of things in hell, and a lot of them are not fun. Now, after that, Deku's still trying to put in some passwords, and everyone on the bus is just throwing out random things. Now, this is whenever Deku, he would just say that there can't possibly be it, as they essentially worked at this corporation. He doesn't exactly know what it was, or the exact name of it, but he just knows that this is how you spell it. And Aizawa would just say that that's probably English for something. As Deku would type that in, he would actually get another answer, and it's actually a weapon thing. It's actually another piece of this armor, which is essentially the details on how to make a visor, which Deku actually kind of finds interesting. But his concentration is broken whenever people start asking about quirks, which is whenever they get to Deku. They exactly ask Deku, what is this quirk? Because there's a rumor going around that essentially you got sent to hell, and your quirk basically evolved, or did all this, and you can do all this weird, crazy stuff. Not even that, but what is it? Wasn't there a rumor going around that your quirk, basically, if you kill, you get strength? So, can you tell us exactly what that means? Alright. Okay. Basically, my quirk is called Butcher. It is a bit weirder than it sounds. Whatever I kill, or whatever I eat, if I eat something, I gain that thing's strength for a little bit. I usually thought that that's what my quirk was. I thought it was, if I eat it, I can get strength or try and use some part of its abilities. But that wasn't really the case. And what I found out later was, apparently, whatever I kill, I get the strength of. So, growing up most of the time, I accidentally stepped on a lot of insects, and I swallowed a lot of bugs, so I was a little bit stronger than I should be, but my quirk was basically considered useless since I wanted to be a hero. Now, the hell thing, that's a bit different. Around this time last year, that's still hard for me to put my head around, I got sucked into a portal that my dad was working on. They were using help from my portal hero, and they were trying to boost his quirk. Not only to jump throughout the world, but to jump throughout reality. Basically creating a solidized dimension, or a stabilized portal. Now, they did not work out like that. My dad said that his calculations, they were perfect. In fact, he had several mathematicians helping him, but for some reason it was off. Now, basically, it was stable for 2 seconds before it immediately just went out of control, and things started happening. But I walked into the lab and actually got sucked into the portal, which basically led to hell, where I killed my first demon after saving my dad. And I spent the next century trying to survive. I also actually picked up quite a bit of things. You guys want to hear something? As Deku would create a loud, ear-piercing screech, cracking all the glass on the bus, and actually making everyone cover their ears. Everyone would ask what the hell that was, and Deku would just say, "Oh, long story short, I learned a bit of the language there." Aizawa would just look at Deku saying, "Okay, first off, cool. Second, why though?" Well, I mean, why not? All I have to really do is just scream egg or soap or whatever in this language, and I'm basically just attacking someone with sound. Now, that might be a little too cruel, is what some people's thinking, but they're also thinking how they can learn that. Because Jiro's basically thinking that if she can basically learn that, if she could boost her voice, she can basically scramble anything. Like, that sounds pretty cool. Now, everyone's thinking about things like that, and they would arrive at the USJ, which is whenever 13 would begin with, "Not all quirks are created equal," go on that speech, that whole tangent, and this is whenever Shigaraki would walk through the portal. Now, everyone's there. Deku's actually standing there. He's actually just in his black bodysuit because his armor actually got destroyed a bit by the acid. After Deku took it off, that was whenever it started to actually get funny. Because whenever the acid dried, it actually chipped up a lot of the armor. Basically, whenever he tried getting it off, he actually broke the pieces. Now then, other than that, basically Deku would see them, and as soon as Shigaraki walks through, he's just, "Finally, we're here." And Deku would immediately jump in and try and fight with him, along with Aizawa. This is whenever everyone would get teleported, and Deku would actually be above the boat. He's actually falling, and he's looking around as he immediately creates wings, and he actually soars in. He actually catches Sue right before she hits the water, and he's actually able to reach his hand out and tell Ibarra to actually try and swing her whip, try and swing vines over his arm. As she would be able to do that, Deku could just pull the vines up, actually grabbing her, as he would land on the boat. Now then, as soon as that happens, they're actually stating that that was pretty lucky, and Deku would just say that they don't know our quirks. As she's saying that that might be true, but how does he know? He would go on the explanation that, essentially, if they knew my quirk, they would probably try to recruit me as a villain. But if they also knew your quirk, they would have sent you over to the fire area. But they sent you to a river. Now, as that's going on, Deku, he's actually talking with her, and everyone else is just kind of confused. And Deku would eventually just say that they need to get back to shore, as he would grab onto both of them, actually jumping off the boat. As soon as that happens, this is whenever Deku's flying overhead, and Shigaraki would go on his whole speech. "We're here to kill All Might. We have created this monster here. It is made with the strength to..." Why do I hear boss music? Anyways, as that's going on, Deku would land, and he actually turns to face Shigaraki, saying that All Might's not here, but he'll have to do. Shigaraki's just saying that Deku is no match for this thing, and he would just say no, as he immediately goes to a running start, and he actually leaps off 1 foot. As soon as he does this, he actually goes around dismantling and taking out villains. Now, as soon as that happens, Baka goes over in the fire part sector, I believe. He's actually fighting and taking care of things over there. Along with the fact that he would actually be able to help Momo, Kaminari, and Jiro in the situation that they're stuck in. Now, what is going on? Deku's actually taking out quite a few villains until the Nomu gets ordered to attack him. As soon as that happens, Deku would actually be able to put his hands up, and the Nomu would actually smack, just throw as many punches as he can at Deku's arms. Deku would have actually been flown backwards, actually going through at least one of the buildings they have for rescue missions. As that happens, Deku would get back up, and he actually has to shake off his arms as they are bruised. Now, as soon as that happens, Deku would actually go back for an attack, fighting against the Nomu. As soon as he punches it, he realizes that this thing essentially is not going to be easy, as he just keeps punching and punching and punching. Shigaraki would just say that he has shock absorption and it's not going to work, and Deku would immediately just think, then he's probably going to have to use this. He immediately just jumps up straight into the air, telling everyone that they need to get clear. Essentially, if you don't want to die, move. As the one thing that happens is you just hear a loud boom as you just see a giant foot on the Nomu. Deku has turned into the Titan. Now, I couldn't exactly find a picture for this, but this thing is the size of a building, and it is very strong, born from the literal bowels of hell to kill the Doomslayer. Now, Deku is actually talking in this form as he's actually breaking through the roof of the USJ, essentially stomping on this thing until you go down, actually picking it up, ripping it into two pieces. Basically, he's just ripping it into chunks, trying to hold off until All Might can arrive. Now, this thing just keeps regenerating, and Deku's thinking that he may just need to destroy the brain. But before he can do that, he actually feels something hit him, and Shigaraki has hit him with his decay quirk. At this point, Shigaraki's quirk isn't very powerful, but it's enough to bring Deku off his footing and actually get him to stumble backwards. Deku would do this and he'd actually fall over as he would hit the ground, smack dab in the center of a lot of villains. They would all try and come to fight Deku as Deku's trying to dodge them and get out of their way. He keeps punching, throwing kicks, doing whatever he can, just trying not to kill. Now, as soon as he does this, the Nomu would come in once again, actually running up to him and actually smashing Deku in the back of the head, knocking him to the ground. As soon as he does that, you just hear Deku just start to laugh and smile as he turns around, actually grabbing the Nomu, stabbing his hands into his chest, turning them and ripping it apart again. He ripped open its rib cage, actually grabbing its heart as he began just squeezing it. As he does this, he actually grabs the Nomu by the neck, stabs his hand in through its throat, and pulls out its spine. As he does this, the villains are horrified watching as Deku has essentially entered Berserk mode. As he does this, Deku actually goes around, kicking and kneeing a lot of the villains, basically brutalizing them like Batman. He doesn't kill them, sadly. Now, Deku's trying to hold back as he just feels the rage engulf him as he just keeps punching and punching and punching. But he's essentially able to aim for non-vital areas. Instead of aiming for the face or the nose, he aims for an arm or a leg, basically breaking those instead of actually murdering. Now, as this is going on, the Nomu is regenerating, and All Might has arrived, seeing that Deku is essentially just punching and kicking all the villains. Actually fighting, as Ibar is saying Deku may have lost control, Deku starts transforming once again. Actually transforming into a cyber demon, or a very big demon. Probably about 10 foot tall, and he's actually doing this as he just keeps smacking his arms around and doing all this. Now, as soon as that happens, All Might would have actually stopped the Nomu, as he would run over, actually grabbing Deku, telling him that he needs to stop, and that this is not what heroes do. Deku would be able to somewhat snap out of it, but as soon as he's slowing down, Ibara would wrap her vines around him, actually telling him that this is not what heroes do, as Bakugo would run in and start insulting him. As soon as that happened, All Might would have turned and the Nomu was still getting back up. And the battle would commence with All Might and the Nomu, as Deku and Bakugo are actually trying to go after Shigaraki and Kirigiri. Now, once this happens, All Might is still fighting it, and it gets to the point where the portal would open up underneath All Might, but as soon as that happens, demons would arrive. Now, as soon as the demons arrive, Deku is horrified as he realizes that they just opened another portal. He's thinking that his dad's an idiot or that he just doesn't listen. As Deku begins just killing the demons and trying to hold them off, people are watching this and they just hear the strange sounds. The same sounds that Deku was emitting on the bus. Now, as soon as that happens, this is whenever a giant hand actually reaches throughout the portal, actually trying to grab people. It's actually only able to grab the Nomu, as it tries to grab All Might also. But as soon as that happens, Deku would have actually came in, actually chopping off one of the giant fingers. Now, whenever that did happen, the Nomu is essentially dragged into hell, as Deku and everyone just watch the rest of the demons either try and retreat or drag humans in. But before they can do that, the portal closes, essentially keeping the demons there. Deku is telling them that they need to kill the demons because they are not going to try and leave alive. They are going to try and kill as many humans as possible. People don't believe him, as these demons just start executing the villains on the spot. Now, as soon as that happens, Kirigiri and Shigaraki, they're watching this, they're confused. Essentially, they have heard the rumors, but they didn't believe it. As these two would disappear, this would leave All Might and Deku on Class 1A dealing with villains, or dealing with demons. Which is whenever Deku would just kill all of them, along with All Might trying to restrain some. Deku would just finish what All Might couldn't. Which is whenever people would actually be somewhat concerned about Deku. Deku would just state that during his whole century, there's only one thing he's ever had to do. There's only ever been small towns that the demons have resided in where they are peaceful. There are women and children in hell. They are demons, yes, but they are also peaceful. These demons, however, are not. Whatever is wrong with them is just how they are. During my time, I've only ever encountered 2 or 3 towns where they are not like this. They can actually talk and have a conversation with them. But there's also a 5th place that is worse. It's not a town, it's considered a city. It is the Devil's Palace. And it is one place no human has ever set foot in and lived to tell the tale. He's only heard a rumor that there's been one person in there. But he's not even sure if it's even true. Now, that is where I will leave this part off, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. And I have to get changed, eat, and go to work. So, I will be posting the next part of this after I get home. But I didn't want to leave you guys without an upload, so I hope you enjoy.